Hi guys, back in the woods again. I've got one more chapter, one more video to do of my book, and I'm kind of wanting to just carry on so then I can get into the next chapter of my life, which I'm wanting to get into, like fitness and nutrition and maybe being a bit more joyful, because like what this kind of writing the books kind of taught me is that once you're in your own head and you're trying to speak to people on YouTube, it doesn't necessarily resonate with people, because everybody's got their own problems and everybody's got their own issues to deal with. So listening to somebody else talk about their issues and stuff maybe isn't the right direction. I was kind of hoping that maybe people would see themselves in some of the stories I was saying, maybe like a mirror. But that's kind of what I was kind of doing with my book. Maybe I'm just not been able to articulate that properly, but I want to finish where I started. So this is like chapter 24 of my book, and I've only got one more chapter to do and that's it finished. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing that as well and getting on to something different. But I'm just going to carry on from where I was, because this has all happened in just the past 2 weeks, and all my thoughts and everything, so that I can get to the conclusion and get to the end. So for most of my life, whenever things became too heavy, my instinct was to imagine somewhere else, another country, another job, more money, a different future, a version of me who would finally have enough freedom to live properly. Then I finally went somewhere else. I took my boys to Canada and discovered something I probably needed to learn before I could finish this whole journey. Wherever you go, you still have to bring yourself with you. So after the last video I was doing, I was kind of basically saying I had a bit of closure with my wife, that I could kind of finally move on, because since we split up, even last May, so like a year ago in May, every single day I've woke up, I've thought about her. Always like the kind of fond memories, like just the small things, like going for a walk in like the forest, or like we used to just sit and like touch feet and all that. But so this, like after like the emails exchange and after I kind of got closure, I had a dream about her, and I met her obviously in my dream. But what was strange is that there was no kind of connection with it. There was no like fondness. It was as if we were strangers, and that really kind of sank in to me, because then it was like, well, what does that dream mean? Does it mean that, yeah, that's the kind of our souls parted, that's us moving on to kind of new horizons as such? But immediately when I woke up, I felt calm. And what I was actually, like, it was kind of strange, because the night before I started like working with ChatGPT. As I do, I like to get all my thoughts out, and it's like getting all your thoughts out like from a linear perspective, and you can look at all from all angles. So I normally have conversations with ChatGPT, and that's how I manage to get all the ideas and principles and direction for writing this book, and to kind of understand properly so I can move on with this healing journey. So I do recommend doing that with ChatGPT as well. But yeah, like when I was chatting to ChatGPT, like I feel as if like I was coming to the end of my book, and I was like, well, what is going to be my new direction? And I started writing out a nutrition plan, and I kind of like perfect day that I would really like to be living. So I did all that kind of thing. And then also the past, like, I don't know, month or two, I kind of noticed that my body was trying to tell me something, as if it was just like tapping me in the shoulder, saying, remember, we've got these issues that we maybe need to look at. But because I was so involved, I always get quite deep. I'm a kind of deep person, passionate as well. But I kind of was wanting to finish my book. I was wanting to get through my healing journey, so I knew that would be like my body and stuff would kind of come next. But like what actually came up that morning after I kind of feel as if like me and my wife are a bit of strangers. It was the focus that I've got other things that I'm kind of wanting to do. So with the what I kind of just realised was that I feel as if I've maybe got like a dairy intolerance. So I was like, maybe I'll start like cutting out dairy, and maybe at the same time I'll take out gluten as well. And I've kind of noticed myself, I've been liking sugary sweets again. So I kind of decided to get rid of these kind of, what do you call them? It's easier kind of to get rid of it by doing like another 3-day fast. Now the first couple of videos when I done this YouTube channel back in December, I think, or November I started, I did a 3-day fast and I recorded it. And what I found, that was the first 3-day fast I ever did, but after it I actually stopped having sugar altogether. The cravings, that's the word I was looking for. That when you're trying to get rid of cravings, like the best thing is just to kind of go like, yeah, let's just do a 3-day fast in total. So that was my idea, that was going to be the next thing I was going to do, because I believed that the book was kind of going to finish. When I started doing this YouTube channel and my healing journey, I found that I just needed to take the first step, and then the second step would actually appear for me. Because that's what I found when I worked back in hospitality, when I was in holiday enjoying myself and stuff, that I kind of just live my life like that. Just like, I think the last one I said I was a bit like Peter Pan, because I was so in alignment that everything just like worked out in my favour basically, and I always end up like coming out a bush like clean as, and I can't remember what's the expression, landing a pile of poo and coming out smelling like roses. So that's how I always knew my life. And obviously going through like the past 10 years, doing a job that you don't enjoy, going through heartache and close members passing away and stuff like that, that yeah, I found that I was living in the opposite kind of thing. Now with the as I said, with that kind of the first step, it's now that from my healing journey, what I found is instead of just living like that, like just believing that the world happened, that I've consciously chosen my path now, and that has got me into alignment, like by consciously choosing what I was doing, like as in the first step. And like when I was doing that, it was actually saying, right, well, this is your step towards your longer term goal. You've already been thinking about this. So like the YouTube channel was a long-term goal for me. So when I first started it, I didn't know what content I was going to kind of make. And obviously at the same time, I had to go through this healing journey. So instead of me trying to go through my healing journey and then try to think of content as well to post, that's when I've just chosen to be quite honest and open and speak about my healing journey through this YouTube channel. And obviously I said at the start, this not maybe resonate with people, but it's allowed me to kind of get myself back to who I kind of was before, like find myself again. Because as I said before, I always thought that I was going to have to become someone else. But through this healing journey, through consciously choosing my direction, I've actually found, like I've just became myself again. I found me underneath all those like bad habits and subconscious decisions and letting life happen to me, that I've actually started to control my life, take control. And that's where I found myself, that yeah, this kind of path is in the right direction. So that's what I was saying about starting this 3-day fast, that I kind of realised that I was needing to start listening to my body and like I was wanting to go down the nutrition route and into fitness and thinking about different ideas of where I want to go with the YouTube channel, because that's what my body was kind of telling me. Like I started going back to the gym. I think now it's been 2 months, but like I've started feeling a wee bit stronger, and yeah, I've started taking a wee bit of creatine just this week. So I want to get into that. I want to start talking about that. As I said, with like getting out your mind into your body, it gives you confidence. It gives you the boost of trying to be who you are again, and showing that over this video, and hopefully meeting up with people and stuff, and yeah, stop like kind of curling up in a ball and crying about the love of my life gone. So yeah, so I did the 3-day fast, and with that 3-day fast, I was on day 2. Like, well, I started the 3-day fast when it was I was working, and then I had 2 days off that I was going to have with my boys because over the school holidays. I actually went up to 5 days for my work so I could pay for Canada trip, and then the school holidays came and my 2 days off was spent with my boys. So it's just been a lot. I've not necessarily been on my game as such with doing everything, but I did a 3-day fast, and the 3rd day of the fast, so I got into like 62 hours, and I was having my 2 boys overnight with us, and then I also, between me and my mum, we're watching my 2 nieces that day as well. And when they came over, I realised I had no energy, because between day 2 and 3, that's when the autophagy kicks in, when getting rid of all your bad cells and zombie cells and stuff, and sugars and stuff, but your energy kind of gets sapped. So I made a decision to just call it quits after 62 hours and have some food, so I could have a bit of energy to actually like be there for the kids kind of thing. Now, what I noticed when we went to the park later on, that my oldest was a bit quiet. So I didn't necessarily think much of it until later on. So I spoke to his mum, and basically she just says that, yeah, he's been getting a wee bit worried about going away to Canada with us. Now, it also reminded me of, it reminded me when she was actually saying it was a wee bit worried, that he actually said to her before that sometimes when I'm with other adults, that I would just be chatting to the adults and let the kids do the kid thing and not necessarily watch out for them. Because my youngest has got a wee bit of issues with just he can't control his emotions. He gets so worked up that he can't calm himself back down. So I think my oldest was a wee bit worried that he would have to be like parenting like my youngest a wee bit instead of me. So what I realised at that point was that although I've been going through this healing journey and I've been making all the changes, I've been listening to all the things that my wife said and really worked on them. Like, I can't be with somebody just for their potential. So I've really kind of stepped into like the potential of who I can be. The way you are with your boys isn't right. So I've really been like working like to have better relationship with my boys, seeing them more often, being present when I'm there instead of just like being shattered all the time. But with the whole, what I realised was that my boys don't know that I've been doing this change. They can't see what's in my head. Like, I'm trying to show them, I'm trying to be present, but it's quite hard when you've got a routine that's built up, that even if, like, as I said, like, sometimes I've been coming back and, right guys, let's go outside, let's go to the park, let's go for a walk, let's go and do something. They're like, nah, we want to just chill. And it's kind of hard to have a big argument about it and try to get them out. And as I said, my youngest doesn't really control his can regulate his emotions properly, so he kind of gets a bit stuck when it's transition time. So when I'm like, right, let's go and do something, he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And then it's kind of hard to kind of calm him down to then go out and stuff. So the routine with my boys has actually just been like similar to what I was before I did all this work. So for me, in my head, I'm like, right, I'm doing better, I want to be present, I want to do more. And that is the reason why I wanted to book Canada, because I thought if we can go on holiday, I can get them out of that routine, I can get them outside more, change their environment. And that was a goal of mine, because I was like, right, well, if that works, then when we come back, we can start doing a lot more cooler things and stuff. And then what I realised is that my boys don't know that I've changed. So it's like, it's not just me in my head, I need to show them. They need to see proof. They need to see like the changes and the potential I've changed into becoming a better dad. I need to show them that. So I decided I was going to have a wee chat with my oldest. So I actually took him down here, down these woods, because I like being in the woods, in the forest, in nature. And I did a wee bit of a deep dive of his astrology and gene keys, and it kind of gave me a wee bit of language that could help me understand what his personality would be a wee bit like. So I kind of was chatting to him and actually said these kind of points, because one of the points that came up that maybe I was a wee bit surprised was that he likes a lot more adventure, a lot more going out and stuff. And with the routine that I had with him was just about sitting in the house, watching YouTube, playing toys and being a bit more strategy and stuff like that. But that was the part that I said to him. I was like, look, this is what comes up. It's like, you said that you were really into like adventures, going out, like seeing something new and stuff like that. So when I said all these different points, and obviously a lot more as well, he was actually resonating with them. He's like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm like. So I said to him, I was like, this is what the reason why I want to go to Canada with you. And I did actually say to him as well that the way I was with my own dad, my dad, he wasn't really present with me when we were growing up, or my sister either. I always remember coming in from like school and he's just ignoring us with a big massive newspaper. Never even said hello or anything. Never took us to any sports clubs. Never took us out at the weekends and stuff. Now, there's obviously a thing about ancestral trauma, and I spoke about it before with my dad, my grandpa, that they became lonely men when they're older. They chased away their friends and they kind of needed community, they needed people. But the more you get yourself in a recluse mode, the more you don't want to see people. So it's like that kind of catch-22, it gets worse and worse. So for me, when I have my kind of shadow side come out, when I'm a bit down, depressed, I revert into my like own shell. But that's the kind of person I become as well. That's the kind of, like the phrase that my wife says, like the way you are with your boys isn't right. So because I was so detached from my own life, that I reverted into that kind of same way that I remember from my dad. Now that's like learned behaviours, like as I said, that ancestral trauma. But once you recognise it, that's when you can actually make a change. Now I've also said before that I've had visions, maybe when I've had a wee bit of psychedelics, but I've saw my boys when they're older in the resorts that I want to build. And one of the ones that I had was like, I don't know, there must have been like on their 30s or something, maybe even like late 30s. And my oldest walks up to me and gives me a massive cuddle, and I could feel the emotion behind it. And I was like, we both loved each other. It was like it was a warm embrace. And then we looked round and my youngest walked past us, didn't even acknowledge us, and then just walked into a big crowd. It was like with the resorts I was going to want to build. And everybody was just shouting his name. And then he's just turned round with a cheeky grin and he's like that. And then me and like Grayson were just like smiling, and I remember like the pride I had and the love I had for my boys then. So what I realised and why I'm bringing this vision up is because that I just presumed that was going to happen. without me necessarily doing anything about it. So that was what was meaning. I wanted to take my youngest out for a walk because he doesn't know that I've changed. He only sees what he sees. He thinks I was the same old dad. He's not known me when I worked in hospitality, when I used to like walk into crowds, walk into rooms and light the room up and create atmospheres and create a great buzz and be the kind of life and soul of the party. He's never met that. He's only known a dad that's worked in a job that he's not enjoying, when he's like had a lot of pressures and splitting up with like his first wife like a couple of times, and then now he's splitting up with a second wife, being depressed and not being present with him. That's the dad he knows. So for me, the person in the vision of me with my boys with a warm embrace and the person that he knows, that's that gap that comes up again, that happened with my wife, the gap that I was saying about the potential. So that's why I wanted to have a wee chat with him, because like for me, I'm like, if the vision is actually going to come true, which I believe it will, that I just presume that it's going to happen, but it's not. I need to make that happen. I need to consciously create a better relationship with my boys, so that's the dad they see, that's the dad they know. It's not my shadow side. It's not the dad that I knew. And that's that kind of ancestral trauma, like fixing that. Because if I don't fix it, if I don't make that difference to kind of become that father in the vision of like my boys that they know, then they'll end up reverting back in their shadow side if they're a wee bit down, depressed with their own kids, and then that gets passed down generation to generation. So that's what I mean by ancestral trauma. Once you see it, then you can make a difference. You can consciously choose to change that. So yeah, so that was a big long-winded story, and that was not part of the book or the chapter it was in. I think I wrote about it, but I never actually added that. So yeah, so from in the park, and then after the chat, then it went really well, the chat, and we actually went to Canada. Now, I obviously got I think I spoke in the last video, it was my cousin moved to Canada, so she said to me, John, I've got a room here if whenever you need it. And obviously at the start of the summer holidays, I wanted to take my boys on holiday, because I've always just waited for this external funds to land, that I wasn't going another summer, another possibility, another chance of our summer holidays gone without me being able to do something good and positive for my boys. So yeah, we went to Canada, and like before it actually, what I realised is I already kind of mentioned it, that the boys were off on holiday, so I had them my 2 days off. So normally when they're at school, I would normally go and do like exercises, go for a walk, meet some friends, do any YouTube videos, writing my book and stuff. Now that whole, like, I've not posted a video for like 4 weeks, because of the summer holidays, because I never had time. And yeah, I kind of just get taken out my routine, my structure, everything that I've worked towards, that was slowly kind of deteriorating out of my life. And the week before I went to Canada, my ex was doing a show for like all the nights, so I had the boys overnight, well, most nights as well. And that was the week before I went to Canada, so I started like slowly losing myself again. So when I went to Canada, I was staying at my cousin's, and I forgot to take my driving license. It just slipped me. So I was basically, we were just getting driven about with them and living in their house, doing what they're doing, their routines, their structure. And I already mentioned, my youngest has a wee bit of transition problems. So like they started to get a wee bit of as I said, like I wasn't doing any exercise, I wasn't going for walks, I was just with my boys constantly, with my cousin, and they never actually, they moved over to Canada and they've had a few wee issues themselves, so they're not fully, they've had a wee bit of stress as well. And for me, I can normally feel other people's like emotions as well, or feel when stress is happening, and I'm quite conscious that I add stress to people. Obviously going through this healing journey and obviously reflecting upon my wife and stuff, that's what I realised. I was like, with like my youngest needing a wee bit extra time to move forward when they're all waiting. Normally I'm confident to say, right, like it's just going to take a wee bit of time, I've got him, we'll get you there or whatever. But because obviously we're all in the same car, it just looked like my youngest wasn't doing what he's told. He was being naughty and I wasn't disciplining properly. Now, I obviously know my kid, and I've obviously tried different things throughout the years, and the thing that doesn't work is being aggressive or like pushy. It just makes him worse. He gets to a point that he's got a kind of glazed look and he can't bring his emotions back down, and they just like, nah, I'm not doing it, refusing. So that's the kind of issues we've had, and yeah, it got from good intentions and it kind of got a wee bit worse. End up just having a few other people, a few other adults kind of putting their tuppence worth in as well. Had like their mum texting to say, right, these are kind of tips and tricks to kind of help parent kind of thing. But like obviously back in Scotland compared to Canada, and my cousin obviously being a wee bit stressed, she took it the wrong way and just said, well, why are you telling me how to parent when it should be like John that's parenting? So then like she phoned their dad, my mum got involved as well, so it just became a bit of a big issue. Now obviously, as I said, I was kind of not being myself. I started slowly losing myself, so it was just a wee bit strain, a wee bit of stress, and basically like my cousin said, well, we need to do something about it. And so for me, that kind of saying kind of made me think, well, maybe I should just get myself my own wee place for a bit, look at a hotel, just so it's just me and the two boys, and then we can still go and meet and still do things. And then yeah, it was either that or getting an early flight home. But after the next day, what we realised is like, let's just get home early, because at first I've never actually took my boys overnight more than 2 nights, I think, maybe 3 at the most, so 8 nights was a bit ambitious. So yeah, cut the trip short from Canada. But actually Canada in itself, like even I said to my boys, do you want to go home early or do you want to stay? They're like, no, we want to stay, this is brilliant. It was just amazing. Like, it was really great to see my cousin, like her husband, nephew. Like there's like when you go to like a different place and somebody lives there and you get to see it from their kind of eyes. Like for me, like Canada's like one of 3 countries that I want to build the resorts in. I've always had a kind of pull towards Canada. So when my cousin was there, I was like, well, I want to go and see Canada. I want to meet my cousin again. She's into social media, so I thought maybe I can get some tips and tricks. But she's not, she's, yeah, having it through a few issues. I never get round to that basically. But yeah, like definitely going back to kind of Canada, it was amazing. But what I came back with, and this is what I kind of really learned about Canada, or the trip in general, is because before I went to Canada, all the routines, all the structures that I was building in my life, that was actually helping me being like having good capacity and being able to cope with anything that gets put onto me, that was slowly erasing, slowly disappearing. And one thing that my wife said that came up on this trip was that you bring chaos into my life. Now, that's what it really means about bringing chaos into your life, that when you're not consciously choosing what you're doing, if you're not structuring your day properly, if you're just waiting till things land on you, then you're just dealing with that thing there and then. You're not being able to be in a calm mood. As I said, my youngest, like, he can't calm his emotions properly in transitions. So if I'm not calm, how can I calm him? If I'm not, like, if I'm a bit stressed or not relaxed enough or exhausted, how can I be that father for them? And that's what I realised, is that, yeah, like, going through the healing journey, it was actually trying to find myself, trying to unpack the reason why we lost, we separated in the first place. But after the kind of the dream I had of my wife, that we kind of stopped knowing each other in our dreams, like our souls as such, that I realised that, like, splitting with my wife, the loss of the love, the person I loved the most, is that I've got an opportunity to start concentrating on the people that are in my life. That's my boys, my family, my mum, all my friends, all the community that I'm hoping to build as well. That's what I can concentrate on. And that's what I've kind of been taking from this healing journey. But the reason why this is the last chapter of my book as well, because that trip was the last lesson that I needed to learn, that I can't just go away to another side of the world and not have any structure in my days, not be myself, not come out for walks, not doing a wee bit of exercise, not giving myself a wee bit of time, that I need to just be like me again. Because if you're just, like, subconsciously, like, letting things happen, like, your kids are demanding, you've got other people you're needing to do and see, you've got places you need to go, you're not, like, fully focused, you're not sleeping properly, you're not eating properly, you're not looking after your body properly. Now, that all has an impact, and that's what I realised, is that even when I had my boys before in the summer holidays, I wasn't exercising, I wasn't coming out for walks, I wasn't doing the things that I was making that a priority on my days off when it's just me. And that's the thing, that for me to be a good father, I can't have it that the days I've got my boys are different from the days that I'm on my own. It needs to have this structure and this routine built in with it. Because if I'm structuring my days properly, then that's when they can start seeing the change of who I really am, the potential of who I can be. And for me, changing my habits, and if I show that in front of them, that would allow them to change their routine with me as well. Get rid of their kind of bad habits. My youngest, his, like, emotions might actually be better if he sees that bit of structure with me as well. So that's what I've taken from this whole trip, this whole lesson. And this is why I'm saying this is the last chapter of my book, because I know the next direction I want to go down. I want to get into my routines, I want to get into my health, my fitness, understanding my body a wee bit better, getting my confidence back out again, starting to smile a wee bit more and doing things. So yeah. So that's what I'm kind of going to focus on, is, like, figuring out, I've kind of already wrote it with the ChatGPT as well, about what my perfect day is going to look like. So instead of me, because I did like a kind of 8-8-8 principle, that, yeah, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of purposeful and meaningful work, and 8 hours for yourself. So the 8 hours of work, that would be me when it's on my own, like the YouTube channel, writing, go and do things, like maybe building something else. And then, like, obviously 8 hours for myself, and that's like the gym, eating, going for walks, like meeting friends and stuff. So I need to take that same structure, that same day, and put it into the days that I'm a father. So 8 hours of work for people's purposeful and meaningful work, is spending time with my boys, but I've still got 8 hours for myself, or I should try to make that having 8 hours for myself. Now obviously the 8 hours for myself can also involve them as well, because if I get them involved into things that I like to do, like going for walks or playing sport or something like that, then that can marry up the time perfectly. So this is what I'm going to go down. This is my my next direction, and this is why I'm quite excited that I finished my book, because my book was about my healing journey, about getting over the heartbreak, getting over the loss of the person I've loved the most in my life, because of the way I was with her, because I wasn't showing up, I wasn't being present in the life that I had with her. Now, that has been the biggest lesson of it all, that if you don't consciously choose who you're going to become, then somebody's going to choose that for you. And if you've got important people in your life, important things to you, then they could just decide that you're not for them anymore. You're not their person anymore. And that was the phrase that I was very stuck with for a while, that my wife said, that you're not my person. Because I knew that we had love. I knew she loved me before, and we did marry each other. We did intend to spend the rest of our lives together. So I knew I was her person one day. But the question that I had, and I talked about in the last video, I just needed to ask better questions to understand it properly. Because it wasn't that I wasn't her person before, it was I stopped becoming her person. And that's when I actually said as well that I actually stopped becoming the person for me as well, because I left her the first time. I moved back up to my mum's because I couldn't cope with me being me. I had to work out how to change, how to make things different, because I seen a repeated pattern with my first wife. A bit like the infinity symbol that I've spoke to before, that the very start of your journey ends up being kind of close to the end as well, and it kind of loops back on each other, and you come out with different understandings. So you find from asking better questions basically. And yeah, this is for me, this is why this chapter of my life is kind of fitting, that's probably why Canada became the right place for this journey to end. Not because everything went perfectly, because it's almost the opposite. I came home early, I'm still driving trucks, there's still parts of fatherhood I'm learning. The funding that I've spent years waiting for still hasn't happened. The resorts are still largely in my imagination, and I don't know who I'll eventually share my life with. But I do know that for me to be sharing my life with somebody else, I need to basically have this structure, routine, knowing who I really am, being confident fully in myself, that if any other adults ever say, getting feeling anxious about me, that I'm saying, no, I've got it, I'm fine. I need to be confident in myself, and that is where I'm going with this next direction of my life. Because somewhere through all of this, the future stopped being somewhere I needed to escape to. The resorts don't need to rescue me. Money doesn't need to rescue me. And another relationship doesn't need to rescue me. So those things can become part of my life. Some of them, hopefully they will. But my life is already happening here, in tomorrow morning, in the way I look after myself, in the work I choose to move towards, and whether my boys feel me beside them when we're together, and what I create and what I give my attention to, and in how I respond when life inevitably knocks everything out of rhythm again. Because for most of my life, whenever things became too heavy, my instinct was to imagine somewhere else. Then I finally went somewhere else, to Canada. And I had to still bring myself with me to there. So maybe coming home early wasn't the ending I'd imagined, but perhaps coming home was exactly how this journey needed to end. Because after spending so much of my life searching for somewhere else to begin, I finally understood what it meant to come home to myself. So maybe the goal was never to build a life I couldn't be knocked out of. It was to build a life I knew how to return to. And guys, I think I'll actually just keep that as the last chapter of this book. And then we can move towards something different, something a bit more fun, a bit more, out of body and into mind. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm just gonna leave it there and say Slàinte. Ciao.